welcome to ATN Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues, give them aggregate attention with a view to propose solutions that will benefit humanity. And today on Society Watch, we will be discussing on a variety of issues. First, from Rivers State, where police arrest 12 suspected internet fraudsters burying newborn alive. And from Edo State, police arrest internet fraudsters over girlfriend's mother. From Adamawa State, police nab nonagenarian for allegedly raping 13-year-old girl. And lastly, on Safe Schools Project, police set up schools protection squad. Well, these are the issues we'll be looking at today, and we have joining us today child and women's rights advocates. I'll introduce her to you when we return from this break. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network. And like I said, our guest for today is a child and women's rights advocate, Mrs. Nneamaka Onochie. Thank you so much for joining us.
So much. Thank you.
All right, let's get our first issue from Rivers State. The Port Harcourt Local Government Authority Area Security Watch and policemen have arrested about 12 suspected internet fraudsters who allegedly buried a newborn baby alive at Anthony Waterfront in Eagle Island, Rivers State capital, on Wednesday morning. Chairman of PLGA Security Watch, who doubles as Chief Security Officer of Eagle Island, Victor Ohaji, disclosed the incident to newsmen. He disclosed that on getting the information, he alerted the Azikiwe Police Division in Diob, Port Harcourt, and the officials of the state's neighborhood agency. Thereafter, I immediately mobilized my men, but on getting to the spot where we're told the suspects were by the waterfront, the Yahoo boys had left. Ohaji, however, said on closer observation, it was discovered that the suspected Yahoo boys buried something at the waterfront. The CSO of Eagle Island said he directed his men to dig the ground where they found the lifeless body of a newborn baby boy and was exhumed. He said his men, the police and neighborhood men, started coming to the area in search of the renegades, which they eventually sighted coming out of the hotel. Ohaji stated, when we dug the place, we saw a newborn baby, a bouncing baby boy, very fine boy that they buried. Immediately, I called the situation officer of Eagle Island and informed him of our discovery so that he can relate to the divisional police officer he is working with. Immediately, the police and neighborhood watchmen joined us, so we started going around Eagle Island to see if we could find the suspects. We even moved from one hotel to another in the area, and lo and behold, we saw them coming out from a hotel, and as soon as we highlighted from the car, the suspects started running. So we chased after them and apprehended them. There were 12 of them. So we took them to the police station, and the baby, continuing, said, while we were there, the leader of the Yahoo boys was shouting, ranting that his father is a major general and that nothing will happen. He said, even if they bury full human being, nothing will happen. This is very pathetic. Very, very pathetic because people are looking for children. There are couples that are desperately in need of just a child, and here we have a child being used for ritual purposes. You know, it seems more like we do not have value for human life generally, and then most importantly for children. People use them anyhow nowadays. Most annoying, the first question should be, how do they lay hands on these children, this child? Could it be from the parents? Because human trafficking is on the rise, child trafficking is on the rise. What exactly is going on in our society?
You know, I'm trying to wrap my head around how 12 boys can just take a child to bury. Like, it's appalling. Who does that? Where is the empathy? You understand? I mean, society or humans have just lacked empathy. And it's a shame. It's horrendous. How can you take a child to go and bury for what? For ritual, whatever. You understand? Okay, now you ask a question how they got the child. There's several ways to get a child. You understand? A child can be walking on the road and they can kidnap the child. You understand? Maybe a child can be in the mall with the mother. The mother might miss track of where he or she led the child. You understand? No children know how they behave. They can just meander and go out, you understand, without the consent of their mother. And also in schools, in hospitals too. Oh, there's something too, yes. No, there are homes. There are homes that what they do, they get girls, young girls that are pregnant, you understand? These teenagers that are pregnant, they get them, they have them in a home where they take them and till they 12 to 9 months, you understand? They take the baby and then sell off to people or ritualists or this Yahoo boys, etc. So getting a child is very easy. It's easy in this age and situation. You understand? It's not like a science to go and get a baby. It's not. It's very easy. You understand? With some few cash, can access a child from these homes, these illegal homes that can just go, that can just pick a teenager from the street or from anywhere and just package the child and sell them off. You understand? And it's a shame. And also, most teenage girls that don't have someone to take care of them, you understand? When they're pregnant, they can maybe just go somewhere, hide, give birth, and then take baby and sell on their own, you understand? Without knowing the implications or consequences of these acts, you understand? And it's a shame because, first of all, I asked myself, if these Yahoo boys or guys say that society have failed them, how? You understand? Society is what? It's made up of homes, right? Yes, homes make up what? Society. So these boys didn't come from bush or from sea or from river or from air. They came from home. So as I think, I don't know. I'm asking myself, who is raising these boys? You understand? Because it's appalling. They've lacked empathy. They've lacked as in their sense of self. You understand? Sense of humanity to do such acts. And I believe that these boys must face the full extent of law. They must. You understand? Something should be put in place. You understand? To make sure that these boys don't go like that. They should face the full extent of law for these horrendous and these acts they perform.
It's very pathetic. But talking about the fact that these boys are coming from homes, you would agree with me that some parents are actually taking the pain to do their own bid in order to have raised better children. But then somewhere along the line, maybe they miss it or something, and then we end up where we are right now. Can we totally blame it on the home front?
If you raise a child the way he should go, he will grow up like that. If you raise a child with his principles, with his morals, that child will definitely grow up like that. You understand? Even with societal pressures, peer pressures, and whatnot. You understand? So I think that most things, sometimes the parents miss it, you know, somehow, you know, use maybe business, career, house in life. You understand? You know the present situation of the country. It's not easy for anybody anywhere in this country. You understand? But then home front is another big thing, because your child comes home with maybe a phone you know that he or she cannot afford. You understand? Your child comes home with a car that he can't afford. I know that this child is in school, maybe it should be year 1 or year 2. You understand? He comes home with this thing that he can't afford, and some parents don't even care. They don't even care, yes. Some parents will just, they'll be happy. Oh, my son, where did you get this thing from? They don't even ask questions, as long as you just give them money. You know, some parents, as I don't know, they have long throats, yes. Some parents they're covetous. Some parents are not content. So they don't care how the child brings up as whatever he or she brings up. They don't care about the money or whatever the child brings. Yes, so home is a big avenue, you understand, to sensitizing, because...
Now, when you talk about parents receiving everything from their children without bothering to know why. You know,
Some.
For most parents who have labored, most parents who have given in their all to make sure that these children become better in the society, and then your son comes back, maybe he tells you he's doing something in town, and then he comes back with some gifts, luxurious ones in that matter. I mean, should you not accept it, haven't labored so much? It's more like a reward for your hard work.
The question is, have the parents asked to try some questions? Because you have to sit your child down sometimes and ask him or her important questions. You understand? What do you do? Where do you get these things from? As in, then you check the net worth of that child to make sure that it amounts to that part, that job, you understand, that business he's doing. You understand? Because can't tell me that as a child, as maybe example, can be a bartender or waiter and is coming home with, you understand, big stuff like that. You understand? No, now you know, okay, we know the minimum wage in this country. You understand? We know as in this, okay, for this job or for this skill, this is the amount that is being paid. You understand? So we all know these things. You understand? So the parents should ask questions. It's not about us because he or she is working. Because they camouflage a lot. Yes, these boys camouflage a lot. Mainly these children. Maybe someone can be as into internet fraud, you understand, cyber crimes, and then they tell you that there are electors, influencers, there are stuff like that. Yes, some of them, or that are into fashion, etc. You understand? Just as they put up a front, you know, so that you won't recognize or know what they're doing. And mostly, some parents won't know because, okay, when the child says, I'm a relator, you understand? And then, of course, they will have a good profile, maybe social media profile, showing some houses, some stuff, some investments, and everything that's, but not knowing that sometimes it's a camouflage, you understand? So, but besides that, also, when you see your child that is doing a job or a business that you know that he can't get that amount at that same period of time, you need to ask, you need to go back and ask him questions.
Yeah, I totally agree. Parents really need to have the eagle's eye to get to know a whole lot of things. But let's go back to the ease with which these people with evil intentions lay hold on children. I mean, we're talking about a newborn here. Yes, I agree with you because I've heard stories, we've seen in the news, stories of hospitals who sell out newborn babies, of syndicates who sell out babies because they have women who give, young ladies who give birth to those children. We've seen orphanage homes and all of that. What can we do? Because it's more like the protection of the child is getting weakened by the day.
Okay, well, I believe that government should look into those homes, you understand? Because those homes can be found in every nook and cranny, you understand? In most states, you understand? So government should endeavor, they should ensure, you understand, to take adequate care and look into those homes. Like sending some authorities, you understand, to go and verify, you understand? Pipe low, verify, know what's going on in those homes, know the avenues as in which they operate, you understand? And then do what? Take action, you understand? So government should also do what? So as in, should take charge. Then individuals too, because everything shouldn't be left for government. So individuals should come out also. Individuals should try. You understand? When you see such, you understand? Speak up. Say something, because if you don't, you enable such. When a child is being bought from such home, organizations are being sold to these boys for inordinate activities, and you know that this thing comes from such homes, I didn't anything, you're enabler. Simple. You understand? So individuals should also do what? Do something to not just leaving everything for government, because most times government can't be fully trusted. Yes, in our country, government can be really fully trusted to do all these things for us. You understand? So individuals should also take it up upon themselves to take action.
Yeah, I remember a very recent incident not too long ago that happened where I heard that a certain young man was arrested with a newborn baby in a hotel room where he was about to perform some rituals. And they asked him, where did you get this baby? And he said, I bought the baby. Now, maybe he got this baby from the orphanage, let's say, for instance, and maybe this orphanage didn't have any idea what he was going to do with the baby. Are you going to blame them for selling off a baby? I mean, maybe someone comes for adoption. I want to adopt this newborn baby. Are you going to blame them for selling off a baby on adoption basis?
Okay, I know that for adoption basis, you understand, there have to be some documents, things to be as in field, you understand, files to be filled and everything, you understand. That to be a root cause why somebody wants to adopt a child. Someone can just come to an orphanage and adopt a child, you understand. It's not sweet, or it's not donuts, it's market, you understand. So I believe that those who give out children in terms of adoption, they should make necessary findings to be sure of the reason and the purpose of why the person is adopting the child, you understand? And that notwithstanding, and also follow it up, you understand? Follow up is a very good, you understand, a very good element of making sure that the child is in a good hand and not for all these destroying the next purposes. Because when you give out a child to somebody, you understand, or to a couple, I believe that they should follow it up, you understand, to some extent. Because someone who has bad intentions and took up a child, that person maybe in the child to do some things as a period of time, maybe as in next week or a month. By then, the person have done that. So if those people that gave out the child should come to you maybe in 3 months' time or 6 months' time or later, yes, baby wants to know the welfare of the child, wants to know, what will you say? You understand? So that's how to root out those ones that take up baby for all these evil activities.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, we hope that justice is going to be served. And for those who are into adoption, the orphanage homes or whatever you will call it, do your due diligence before giving out any baby on adoption, and also do a follow-up investigation to know the welfare of the babies in question. Let's go straight up to our next issue from Edo State. A suspected internet fraudster has allegedly stabbed his girlfriend to death in his Benin City apartment. Police said the suspect, Victor Ifakachuku, is being closely monitored at an undisclosed hospital, hoping to account for his crime whenever he regains consciousness. It was also gathered that the unfortunate incident was reported to the police by his landlord, Mr. Emmanuel Momo, at about 4 p.m. on Monday, August 21st, 2023. Police said 2 blood-stained knives, 1 laptop, 2 iPhones, and 1 Nokia phone were recovered from the apartment. While confirming the incident to newsmen, the Public Relations Officer at Edo State Police Command, SP Chidi Nwabuzo, said a full-scale investigation had begun. He said detectives would unravel what transpired between the 2 lovebirds. Meanwhile, some security personnel who joined in the evacuation of the girl's corpse said no part was missing from the deceased. When we arrived at the house, blood was flowing like water. I believe they started stabbing themselves when a quarrel erupted between them. I suspect something went wrong and the girl fought back with her last part. When the boy regains consciousness, he will tell us how many of them were in the house and what actually happened, he noted. Now, when we talk about domestic violence, we always look at it in, of course, both sides, as to the men and as to the women. But in this situation, we have a scenario which seemed like they were both engaged in that knife fight, stabbing each other, even though we do not know exactly what led to that. But I want to believe that before we got to this point where they started stabbing each other, there must have been some act of violence in that relationship, but they still try to tolerate it to this point where we have right now. I mean, the young man is still unconscious in the hospital and the young lady is dead. What's your take with, way people in relationships this time around put up with violence, no matter how little it is, hoping that maybe he will change or she will change, will get better, and then we'll move on?
Well, I know that there's something called trauma bonding, understand? Most times, most girls, when they don't find that love they need at home, you understand, and they now find someone that comes with promises of fulfillment, happiness, and love, etc. You understand? They entitled to succumb, you understand? So now, this situation, like you said, there have been violence going on prior to this event, you understand? We they tend to have endured for it to escalate to this time. Now, what happened? You see that I think that it's part of endurance because someone should have left. The girl should have left. You understand? It's really that affects being in a relationship. If it's not working out, you go. You live to live. I always say it, live to live. It's not working out, you understand? It's as entered into that violent stage. What I see you doing there again? What I see you doing there? What end do you want to see? You understand? She died, right? So it's a shame. It's really a shame. You know, sometimes these victims tend not to live because of one things they tend to gain in the relationship. Maybe financial gains, you understand? So maybe she might feel that if she leaves, how will she be able to take care of herself, take care of her needs? Whereas when the boy has enabled her to a stage that he can provide everything, you understand? When he has seen this person as a provider, and that he can provide everything she needs. So if she leaves, she's thinking, let's send it as another person who can give me as much as this. And they tend to assume that this gift is love, you understand? When you provide everything you need, I want to make my hair, I want a new phone, all those things they give you. So that the dream is love. But knowing that you have to love yourself first. Because someone can love you fully. If you don't love yourself, nobody can love you fully. So the love should come within. So it's that love from within that can make the victim of such violence to leave. Because she or he knows that if I leave, you understand, there are doors there bound to open for me. You understand? And if I leave, I can make it on my own. I can work out. Is it differential gains? I can work to get this. So another thing is emotional. You understand? When the girl feels that the emotional comfort he gets from the connection from the boy, it's hard to leave. It's really hard. So sometimes I don't blame them at all. No, it's easy to blame somebody in abuse. It's so easy to blame someone when you're not even wearing their shoe. You understand? So it's easy to blame someone like when she leaves, but you don't know how long the investment person has made in that relationship emotionally. So it's really hard to leave. You understand? And also, one term that makes people make a huge mistake in life, relationships, is what people will say. See that term, what people will say. Because if I leave, what will people say? But if you die there, they will still say something. You understand? They must definitely say. So if you are still put, thinking that, people as we say something if I leave, so let me just stay put. No, my dear, they will still say a lot. So why don't you, as in, summon up courage? No matter how you can, there are friends to help you, there are families to help you, you understand, move on. Summon courage, take a walk and live to live. Because if the girl has had legs, this wouldn't have happened. How can you stay as in somewhere, because as in, from the news, there were 2 knives found in the street. So which means the boy was stabbing, the girl was, I don't know who started the stabbing stuff, but I'm sure that someone started first, and someone rushed to get the knife to continue. So it was now like stabbing parade, you understand? Let's see who stabs better, you understand? Before, as in so it's a shame. Why don't you, in that moment, walk away? Somebody, okay, as the boy has slapped you or the girl slapped you, and you're still there, and forgiving him, he will change. You can't change someone that doesn't want to change. You understand? You can't change somebody who doesn't want to change. Change comes from within. Unless they want to change, they will change. You know, most times, mostly women, being emotional being, they'll be like, I can't leave him. I will change him. He will change.
But you also know that most times, even the men promise, well, babe, sorry this happened. I didn't know what came over me. I'm going to change. This is not going to happen again. And then she assumes, well, he has promised to change. Let me just give him a chance.
He has promised to change. Are you continue seeing the pattern as it repeats itself? You understand? Okay, he promised to change. Has it changed? No. When maybe someone slaps you, maybe I'm sorry, I will change. the next day it's up to you again, I will change. My dear, to just leave that place for your life, you understand? Because person that promises that he will change without any effort, because change comes with conscious efforts. Change is uncomfortable. You see, change is so uncomfortable, and it comes with conscious efforts from the individual, you understand, who have said, okay, in his mind, who have sat down to have honest conversation with himself or herself, that he or she will change. Because without that, there's no change, you understand, no change. So when you've seen the pattern, and as he has continued like that, you just have to do what? You have to live. Run for your life. Run for your life. Don't just stay and hope or wait to change anybody that doesn't want to change. Because they have to love themselves first, supposed to change.
You know, you talked about most women not really certain of what is out there for them, and so they don't want to leave this place of comfort that they have found. I have heard so many, I have read so many, and I have probably seen so many too who feel, I mean, like this fear of the unknown. If I leave this man who gives me this much at the moment, who is the next person going to be? Will he be better? I mean, in fact, some even say that there's no better person out there. So make do with the devil you have already. What's your take on that?
You know, I always say this, that that statement or the adage that the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know is so limiting. Yes, it's very limiting. Because with that notion in your mind, in your heart, you tend to stay put in very uncomfortable, disastrous situations. You understand? And it's very bad. So you should leave that adage or that statement, it won't come to terms at all. Because if you have that at the back of your mind, my dear, you cannot make headway. You can't make headway in relationship, in career, in business. Just stay there and take everything given to you second hand. You understand? So you have to make the move. That statement doesn't work at all. And when you move, there are people that are there to support you. You understand? And also that notion that when you go out there, you may not see someone else to love you, provide for you, etc. Most times, when we live a relationship, we tend to hurry into the next one, which shouldn't be so. When you live a situation like that, you have to, first of all, heal. You understand? You should heal. Take some time off to heal. Recollect, reflect on the things and how they went wrong, on the past relationships, you understand, maybe there's been a pattern, and how you attract those patterns into your life. So you have to at least heal, take some time off, you know, go for counseling and therapy. You know, this country, most people don't go for therapy. I believe that most people, in fact, all of us in this country need therapy. Besides relationship issue, we need therapy in every aspect, mainly dealing with a situation in this country, we need therapy, you understand? But not relenting. I think that the individual should seek for counseling and healing, you understand? And also try and get something doing. Maybe put yourself into work, into leisures, into things that will take your mind off your emotional disasters, your trauma, take your mind off your uncomforts. Knowing, believing, because you have to believing that definitely there's someone out there for you who will love you better than the last.
All right, so relationship is not a do or die affair. Always look out for the red flags and know when to take a walk if it is very necessary. We'll go on a very short break and we will be right back.
country illegally. That is amazing. Human trafficking.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Society Watch on Atlantic Television Network, and our next issue is from Adamawa State. A 94-year-old man has been nabbed in Adamawa State for allegedly raping a 13-year-old girl. The State Police Command said in a statement Wednesday evening that its operatives apprehended the man, Mohammed Abubakar, for committing the act in Tapare, a community in Ganye, headquarters of Ganye local government area of southern Adamawa. The police said in a statement signed by the command PRO SP Suleiman Nguroje that the suspect, a herbalist, has the reputation of deceiving young females by giving them sugar and other sweet items. It happens that on August 12, 2023, while the victim was passing by the suspect's house, he called her into the house and took advantage of her by having an unlawful carnal knowledge of her. Investigation so far reveals that the suspect, while committing the act, rubbed some concoction in form of perfume on the victim, which made the victim ill. After the incident, the statement added. It said the girl opened up on the incident when questioned by her mother about her illness, after which the incident was reported to the Divisional Police Headquarters in Ganye. The Commissioner of Police, Afolabi Babatola, who frowns at the ugly incident, has directed the officer in charge of Family Support Unit of the command to take over the investigation and ensure the diligent prosecution of the perpetrators, the police said. Well, I mean, I don't even know how to describe this, because we're talking about a man who's old enough to be a grandfather, and such a man defiling someone who is of age as your grandchild. It's unbecoming, but it's gradually becoming part of our society daily. But I am concerned about the teenager in question. She was passing by the suspect's house, and he lured her into his house. And most often than not, this is how we get to hear that some of our teenagers get raped or defiled by men who shouldn't even consider this in the first place. What do you think about the safety of our teenagers and some of the things we ordinarily think they should know? I mean, this is a stranger, or maybe even someone she's acquainted with, but going into his apartment, what's your take?
First of all, rape is evil, very evil, and anyone who rapes a child ought to face the full extent of law. Nobody, no rapist should go unpunished despite their age. I don't care about the age of the person, whether it's a grandpa or a great-grandfather. He or she should face the full extent of law. Now, I believe that this man did not just lure the girl into his house empty-handed. Maybe he waved something, maybe sweet or snacks you understand, able to, or maybe he promised the girl something. And can you imagine a man of 90-something years? So imagine those that he had been raping before, just got to know this. You know what? We're doing something evil, you understand? He's doing it, covering it, but one day, it must surely be out there in the open. Nothing is sitting at the sun forever, you understand? So maybe this was his day of what do you call it? But the fact is that this man, I believe, must have promised the girl something, or must have waved some sweets or snacks for the girl to enter his house, you understand? To carry that evil act. And that also takes us to the parents and the guardians. You understand? We should enable or endeavor to tell the kids that no matter what anybody promise you, no matter what anybody show you, you understand? Don't enter a home alone without anybody. Mainly when, as opposite sex is calling you. You understand? I want to tell you something. Say it outside. Why must I come into your house to, you understand, to hear anyone talk to me? So, as in, we should have to tell these children, because most times they don't know. And ignorance is a disease. So ignorance is a big factor in abuse, you understand? Because the child, he didn't know. Had it been, she knew, she wouldn't have entered. Because they know that children are not that disobedient. If you tell a child, don't follow a stranger, don't take sweets or snacks from a stranger, a child will abide by it. No matter, let me say that I should not enter anybody's house. What do you want me to do? You understand? A child would have avoided that. And also, when neighbors, you see such events, maybe you see an old man or an elderly man like that calling a small girl into the house. Why don't you ask questions? That's if there are people there. Why don't you ask questions? Why, hello, Oga, what do you want from this girl? Why are you calling this girl? That's, by this, I mean that everybody should look out for each other. You understand? We should have each other's back, because it takes a village to raise, to inform and educate a child. It takes everybody. Parents cannot do it alone. Even the child's parents can't do it alone. So it takes the neighbors, the teachers, everybody to see evil and call out the evil. You see a child entering somebody's house, and I'm sure that the old man was alone, home alone, you understand? Obviously. So you see a small girl entering the home alone of that man. Why don't you, hey, what do you want? What can she do for you? You can't just let the girl enter like that. And also, this girl should be aware. You understand? Because lack of awareness tends to cause severe problems for children. Lack of awareness. Don't enter a stranger's house, even if you know him or her, because it doesn't matter if it's a stranger, because even those close to us tend to be the abusers. You understand? You see situation where stepfathers, grandfathers, etc., uncle, cousins, teachers tend to abuse children. So it's not about being stranger. And this old man, okay, yes, the girl was passing by and he lured her into the home. So everybody should be aware. That's why awareness should be created for every child, to know the rudiments of these abusers, to know as in their ploys, to know their schemes, the way in which they operate. Because if they don't know, how would they handle it?
Yeah, I
so
totally
they need to be
agree. If that little girl had known that these antics that this grandpa is bringing my way is such that would lead me into destruction, is such that would hurt me and leave me in a terrible situation, I'm sure she wouldn't have done that. I agree with you that parents really need to do so much of their works. But you see, most times, most of these parents also do this, but maybe for some reasons we can't really say. Maybe she had so much respect for the person in question, because if you see an elderly man like that trying to get your attention, if you see someone who's that old enough trying to get your attention, then you probably just feel, I mean, he's going to be harmless to me, and so let me just do this, let me talk to him, and all of that. It's really, really appalling, and I don't know how we can do all of that. But what's your take with that, especially cases where we have seen the parents talk to these children, yet we do not get the desired results that we get, because they still end up falling victims to all of that? What's your take in that situation?
Okay. Well, I believe that if parents can't do it alone, of course, they can do it alone. You know, there are books on abuses, yes. There are these books, like children's books on abuses. There are picture books on abuses that parents can buy. Okay, call your children, read with me. While you are reading it with the children, you're educating them, enlightening them. And I believe that schools should also introduce these books too. You understand? It shouldn't be all about reading some stories and novels, etc. But schools should also endeavor to purchase these books on abuses, you understand? And then teach the children, read with them, explain these things to them, because children, once they read it, it will stay with them for a long time. Besides talking, because sometimes talking cannot do everything. You know, so they have to see from what they have seen, from what they have read, they will understand the things, as in understand how to handle situations like this in most cases.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Whatever you read sticks with you. And so maybe we can toe the line of getting them books and materials on how to protect themselves from such abuses. Let's look at our next issue on Safe Schools project. The Nigerian police will soon introduce the Safer School program in all primary, secondary schools and tertiary institutions across the country. The program will save the schools and the students from unnecessary exposure to bandits and kidnappers in every part of the country. The Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 8, comprising of Kwara and Kogi State, Alhaji Ishola Babaita, disclosed this in Ilorin, Kwara State, while addressing men and officers of the Nigerian Police Force, as well as other stakeholders, including vigilantes, hunters, and Fulani herders, leaders during a 2-day working visit to the state. He said, in order to have a more focused and robust response to the existing challenge of constant attacks on educational institutions, culminating in the abduction of students, the police has marshaled an action plan and designed a couple of strategies, both kinetic and non-kinetic, to prevent or checkmate such incidences from being a recurrent challenge in our polity. Consequently, the Nigerian police, under the leadership of the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has set up a special squad to be known as the Schools Protection Squad, SPS, that will serve as an intervention unit to curb the menace. The squad is expected to commence operation in every part of the country. All hands must be on deck, he said. I mean, the issue of attacks in our schools, most especially in the basic education, has really been alarming. Up to this moment, we still have Chibok girls still in custody. We still have some others who have been kidnapped across the country, still in the custody of their abductors. And then that leaves so much to be wondered. We've seen the number of out-of-school children, majority of whom is inspired by the fact that there is a high level of insecurity. And of course, schools are really being affected by all of that. But here we have the Nigerian police say they have come up with a special squad to ensure the protection of the school children in their schools. What is your take on that?
Well, I wonder how they intend to achieve that, you know, putting sports or armed forces in school to protect children. I wonder how they intend to achieve that, because we don't even have enough squad for this country. We don't have enough, you understand? So I wonder how they intend to achieve that, and for a long period of time, because this country, sometimes the things they implement don't even last. Yes, often it doesn't even last, you understand? It's just for a while, just on the surface. So I wonder how they intend to achieve this particular thing. But I think that, well, to an extent, the schools can collaborate with local authorities for security purposes, for safety of the children. And also, the school should teach safety and drills in school. They should teach the students about safety and drills. And also, there should be a background check, serious background check for those who come in and leave the school. You understand? It's wrong for anybody to just walk into the school. Parents, guardians, anybody, they can just, there should be a serious background check. You understand? If someone comes to the school, I was sent by the parents or somebody, the school authority should make sure to give a call, put a call through, communicate with the child's parents. So I think it's very important. Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that it is very, very important because out-of-school children's figure in the country is really, really alarming. And to know that we even have those who are willing to go to school. In fact, I remember when school resumed for this section and some parents in some parts of the country were withholding their children. I mean, you can't go to school right now because the course is not clear. We don't even know what is going to happen to you and all of that. But you talked about teaching these children safety and drills. You think if they have these safety skills, it is going to help them face the level of insecurity we've witnessed in recent times in the country?
Well, safety drills will help them as in children. It will help them a lot, you understand, mainly in school and outside school. At least they should have some safety knowledge. Everything can rely on solely their parents or guardian or the law forces to be their safe nest. So they should, as in a point, have some safety measures imbibed in them. Besides teaching them safety drills, there are things that you can buy, you can purchase. Like there's one pepper spray. Yeah, you can buy it. Maybe when somebody comes to close to the child can, just release it. So person can't even come really close. You understand? But I think that it should be handed to children in schools. It should be available to children. Parents should even purchase stuff like that, like sprays. You understand? To help the children to protect themselves, because that's about protection. So these things should come first. You understand? And besides teaching them safety drills and very good, collaborating with local forces. Parents should also teach these kids at home, create awareness at home. You understand? Like, on no account to anybody comes to school and tell you that I called him or her. Confirm first from the school authorities. You understand? So there should be extreme communication, and then there should be like what is okay again. Some type of way in which the school should make security available for the school. You understand? Put up as in CCTV cameras, yes, camera everywhere, both in and outside the school. You understand? They should try and afford this thing because it will go a long way in helping the child. Besides the law forces, because I don't see a way in which they can achieve this for a long term. This country doesn't achieve anything for a long term. You understand? Because I know that around the way it will flop. Definitely it will. How can you release law enforcement agency or to go to school for how long? Like how many do we have in this country? We have so little agencies, so little police officers to even help us fight corruption. You understand? They're sending them to schools. So you can't do what in schools.
You know, I totally agree with you that the level of security in our schools is very, very poor, especially in public schools, because most private schools, you get to see that even from the entrance, there are some security men, some non-formal security men just by the gates. But in most public schools, we barely come across stuff like that. We just see one elderly man who is just trying to stay there to guide those children, maybe when they want to cross the road or something and all of that. But I really think if the government can do this, now away from the ideal police force and all of that, I think the school authorities themselves, the management, especially, my concern is on the public schools because most of the private schools have a way of handling their security. Now, these public schools, if these school authorities determine how they can have securities, don't you think that that can be more of a long-term solution? Because you've already said we do not have enough security men in the country to tackle crime, and talking about sending squads to the schools.
Well, I said before that schools can collaborate with local authorities. Yeah. These public schools can also collaborate with them, but it will not last. That's one thing. It will last. But I think that this school on their own can bring in securities. Train them, because most of the securities that they bring to school, they call gatesman. You understand? What do they know about security? They have this information. All they know is to open the gate, close the gate, children come in, children go out. They don't even know most things about safety and security. So I think that schools bringing or employing any security officer or gatesman, as they call it, they should train them. They should make sure that they are well equipped and aware and informed about security details and the things they should know about security details for children and for the schools, because the law enforcement agency won't be there for a long time. They will flop. They won't help the children.
All right. So while we also hope that the government is going to do its part, the schools also have the responsibility of ensuring security for the children within the time that these children are under their care. But this is the much we are going to take on this program. Thank you so much, Mrs. Nnemeka.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nnemeka, right? I'm sorry to have murdered it. All right, Mrs. Nnemeka Onochie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, our viewers, for being out there. I am Anita Obari. If you missed anything, don't worry. Just follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1. And do remember the peace and unity are the pathways to progress.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring.
Every day our lives are changed by history.